Yeah, and they dumped the goddamn keyboard. So
So the dogs did wreck your system. All right, okay.
yeah, so I think the tab and the enter key they went out to stop the broadcast, and then I couldn't stop it. So when it was hit, I restart the broadcast.
I
So
gotcha.
we're
And
live
we got
now.
the
So
new link. Cool. Awesome. Oh, by the way, I do have one thing I need to show you real quick here. I'll pull this up. Yeah, she said yes. She said yes.
yeah. Well,
Hmm.
oh yeah, we're on air right by the way. So that's um
Anyway, so as I was saying, I was talking about amplitude before we got
yeah,
interrupted by your canine companions.
yeah.
And if you haven't checked it out, you really should, because it's really, really solid. The first game was done. Harmonix is the developer. They, all you know them for their work on Rock Band and Dance Central and all those games, and they do a phenomenal job of really pulling together a bunch of really, really good music. I like it. I like it a lot. If you
Yeah,
haven't checked it out, it's like 15, $20 on PSN. I mean, it's really not that much at all. And
yeah,
it's really
they
good.
do they do have a good reputation. Um, but I heard something iffy about their or what's it called? It's not a Kickstarter, but the same where
GoFundMe sort of thing. They had
uh,
a funding campaign for that.
yeah,
Interesting. I was
where
not aware of that. Huh.
shape where it's basically a little bit shoddy. Um, I have to look up what it is.
That's interesting because I was not aware of any funding for Rock Band 4. I had my own set of issues with Rock Band 4 and Rock Band 3 because well, that's more GameStop. That was the problem there. They didn't have my pre-order and then didn't call me when it came in.
Fig. It's called Fig.
Huh. Okay, I'm not familiar with that one.
It's supposed to be an investment platform where you can invest in the game and get some shares.
Oh, I see what's going. Okay. Oh, yes. Now that you mentioned that one, now I know what thing you're talking about.
Oh, it's the same thing where Tim Schafer is on the board. So I have my reservations towards that. Anything Tim Schafer does.
No, with good reason. Yeah, with good reason on that.
Yeah, so that's why. But yeah, Rock Band or Harmonix. Otherwise, I don't really have any thoughts. Them. Red Dead Redemption, was that RDR maps or was
Yeah, Red
that?
Dead Redemption maps. You were thinking them Rockstar might be coming out with something for that.
Yeah, Red Dead Redemption 2 is rumored to be released, or at least
Ooh.
something to show. I don't know if it's fully 2 or a Red Dead. It's been kind of in the air right now.
Okay.
They have two the departments. They have the guys developing the GTA stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
then they have Rockstar North, I believe. They are the ones developing Red Dead and the other games.
Okay.
So they are
Interesting.
bound to have something, because Red Dead. Remember, Red Dead was in 2000 and what, 11, 10.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, it was
So
probably,
they
I think it was 2011. Sounds about right.
should have something. They've had like 6 years now, so
They
they
should.
should.
Well, honestly, I think we'll be more likely to see GTA 5 content than RDR than anything RDR related.
That's true. They do hold. they don't make a lot of games, and they spend a lot of times making them.
Mm-hmm.
So
Personally, I would like to see them take that LA Noir that they did with Team Bondi. I would like to see an NY Noir
yeah,
working in New York, working in New York instead.
because that game was a little bit ahead of its time. Um,
It was a
the
beautiful game. It was a beautiful game, though.
Yeah, they didn't really do any real like mocapping until that game because they got the facial expression and all that. They didn't do that
Which was
before that game.
huge.
I mean,
That was huge.
all new technology and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I would actually be interested in some kind of spiritual successor or a to LA Noir.
I think a follow up is probably the best course of action. Make it a new IP, but in the same vein.
Yeah.
You know what I'm getting at? Because honestly, you can't make an LA Noir 2 when you kill the protagonist at the end of the game. Spoiler alert.
Yeah. But also games like that should have a different setting.
Mm-hmm.
Compared
They
to the
really do.
first.
They really do need a different setting each time you play. You play one. Otherwise things will start to get stale.
It will also be very unlikely to have such a fold of events happen to the same guy twice in such a realistic world. So
Mm-hmm.
it really wouldn't make a lot of sense.
But you know, the thing that I liked about LA Noir was the atmosphere.
Um,
It felt like you had stepped into a time capsule and you were in Los Angeles, 1947. Everything looked right, and that was really cool. I really appreciated that level of detail out of Bondi and Rockstar.
yeah, it's hard to capture that kind of stuff. I think also Mafia 2 did it well.
Yeah, I remember hearing good things about Mafia too. I never really played it. I probably should. I probably should check
Yeah,
that one out.
it's actually really it was really a big surprise. Me uh, trying out that game. The only thing I have complaints about is the last mission, which gets on my freaking nerves because there are some bugs which makes me die all the time, and the AI is kind of it can shoot me behind walls, which kind of I just stopped
Yeah,
playing that
I can
stuff.
see that causing problems. Yeah.
I tried like 20 times to do that. The last mission isn't that hard. It's just when you're standing behind a wall and they can shoot you, it just gets irritating. When you die 20 times within an hour, it's on your nerves. Um, so since we are in the post Uncharted 4 era, what do you think Naughty Dog is gonna do?
Honestly, I think we're gonna with post Uncharted. I think they're gonna start looking. I think they're gonna start looking at another Ratchet and Clank. Or no, Ratchet and Clank was Insomniac. They did Jack and Daxter. I'm thinking a new Jack and Daxter.
Yeah, that would be a direction which would be unexpected to say the least.
But it makes it's good business sense though. Jack and Daxter is a fairly popular series.
Yeah,
The first one was
it's
phenomenal.
it would make sense. Um, there are we don't even know if they're gonna do a Last of Us 2 or if they're.
Something else, yeah.
I mean, they could
Or maybe
do.
even a new IP. Something tells me that Naughty Dog, the developers there, are not ones to get stuck in a rut.
Yeah.
They've done a couple sequels, and something tells me that there's somebody within that organization that has an itch to make something new, and somebody's going to scratch that itch, and they're going to come out with a new IP in the next 2-3 years.
Yeah, that to happen after Uncharted 4, and it's hard to tell if they're gonna continue with The Last of Us or if they're gonna do Jack and Daxter, but I think they're gonna do a new IP somewhere down the line.
Yeah.
That's basically in the cards right now. Where they're gonna go next is kind of interesting to see. I actually played the Uncharted games recently and finished them, and
Okay.
I think the set pieces of the second one were really good, but I still think it's a little bit of the gameplay is kind of clunky compared to the third one, which had
You are correct. Yeah, the first one was definitely pretty clunky, but you could do what you wanted. You could more or less finesse it into doing what you wanted it to do.
And the second one, it was better in gunplay, but it still was a little bit iffy. And the third one just nailed it really well. I think overall, Uncharted 3 is the best game because it has the best graphic, it has the best gameplay. You can argue that Uncharted 2 had the best story, but Uncharted 3 is the best game overall.
Interesting. I liked 3, but I honestly think I honestly preferred 2.
Yeah, I know a lot of people prefer the second one. I'm just looking at it as an overall product of
Okay.
what I preferred. But they're not bad games. The first one, these standards, it would be a very bad game. But
Right.
seeing it's old or something like that, it's a really good game.
Right. It was Uncharted was fairly early in the in the PS3's life cycle, as I recall, too. Wasn't it 2007?
Yeah, something like that.
So I mean, and let's be honest, cell architecture is a bitch to work with. Let's be honest, it was pretty terrible. So for what they did, I mean, they did a solid job.
Yeah.
They did a solid job of maintaining or putting together something reasonably entertaining. I liked the environments, the setup, the story. It all looked really good.
Yeah, it did. I have nothing really to complain about Uncharted. It's a great
controls. I can't tell you how many times I try and dodge roll and instead jump off a cliff.
Yeah. Also, some plants. I just leap to my death.
Oh, there was a lot of that. Oh, there was always a lot of that. Oh man. But yeah, so next up is Injustice 2, which is basically all but confirmed at this point. I'm actually kind of looking forward to seeing what they do with it. I mean, the first Injustice, the story mode was fun, but I felt like the multiplayer was rather, like the actual gameplay mechanics were a little lacking compared with like Mortal Kombat, which actually MKX has been rather lacking as well, but that's another story. But like from the multiplayer perspective and from the metagame perspective, Injustice seemed off, I guess, for lack of better words.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Like, I get that it needed to be different than Mortal Kombat, but it didn't feel right. You know?
What you mean? Because I actually played all the characters, and I don't know if it was the combos or just how they set the characters up, because the I really liked playing with was Batman, and he had really nice combos.
Batman was very good, but you needed to know how to play him well.
Yeah.
He was a lot like Kenshi in Mortal Kombat or Glacius in the new Killer Instinct, where you have to know each move is very deliberate, and that made him a little difficult to play. I did decently with. I had fun with Solomon Grundy, but he was never any good. The Joker can be fun, but yeah.
Yeah, so and Justice 2 is I would like them also to expand a little bit on I know they NetherRealm likes to have franchises and stuff like, because they added Scorpion, and
That was interesting, adding him into Injustice.
yeah, and I think that's the only character which they added.
That was the only crossover, and I hated him in Injustice because he did not play like the Scorpion from Mortal Kombat at all.
Yeah.
My normal approach was useless.
Yeah, that's why I kind of would like them to stick with DC characters, even though it's more of an Easter egg than a good character to play with, to have Scorpion in like that. So focus on try to make it work, but also kind of be different to Mortal Kombat.
I'm trying to think of who else they could add to the roster, you know?
Well, they could add Swamp Thing. They could
do Swamp Thing.
Who else? A Darkseid.
Darkseid as a playable character will be interesting. They could also add Apocalypse.
He's from Marvel.
Didn't Superman fight in Apocalypse though? Apoklips or something?
No. Oh, that's the planet.
That's right. That was the planet. That's right. Derp. Shows how much I know about comics.
I don't really know much about Marvel, but I'm more of DC buff. That's why I know this.
And I know more about Marvel because most of my friends that follow comics follow Marvel more than DC, with the exception of like Green Lantern from one friend who followed Green Lantern, and that was all he followed. So
yeah, you can't really do Green Lantern. You can have different skins, but you can't really differentiate. You have red lanterns, blue lanterns, and stuff like that, but the constructs would be the same.
Yeah, I mean, they'd still be power-based heroes. At that point, you might as well just make them a palette swap skin.
Exactly.
I mean, they did that with They did the John Stewart Green Lantern. Even added a voice-over to go with it. So I mean,
yeah, they could like Batman has a good set of villains, with Hush, Black Mask.
You could do Firefly. Firefly would be
Freeze.
Mr. Freeze. Yeah. Yep, you could do Mr. Freeze. You could do Mad Hatter.
Yeah.
Mad Hatter could be added in. Let's see. You do Clayface.
Yeah.
Clayface could be a lot of fun.
Yeah, would be interesting if you could
you know who they should add? Mixia Spitlick.
Yeah.
They need to get Gilbert Gottfried to voice it. They need to do that.
He would be pain. Yes.
Yeah.
Who else? From this, I mean, Supergirl is just a reskin of Superman.
Not really, though. I mean, you could make her own character to a degree, in a sense, though.
Yeah.
I mean, she'd be a lot like Batgirl in that regard, where she's she's fundamentally very similar to Batman, but her moveset is entirely different, and the way she plays is all follows that as well. I think there's enough design space where Supergirl could join in and do decently.
Red Hood would be good.
Red Hood, yeah. You could do who's the it's the knight dude that they have the side missions in Arkham Knight where he's trained to succeed Batman. You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, Red Hood. I was about to say.
Is that Red Hood? I thought it was like a medieval name. Anyways.
Yeah. Once, I know who you're talking about.
Not Azrael, but you know who I'm talking. you know what I'm talking about, though. Two-Face, actually. Two-Face would be an interesting character.
Huh? Yeah. Red Hood as well. I would like to see.
Red Hood would work. Killer Croc.
Yeah. We also have in the
he'd fill a very similar space to Solomon Grundy. I feel like the big, heavy, slow characters. I almost put Killer Croc, Solomon Grundy, and I put Clayface in that same slow, lumbering kind of play style. You know.
We have in the chat. Passion says maybe Superboy.
Yeah, Superboy or Calendar Man as a joke character. I don't know about that one. I don't think so.
Yeah. What about Riddler?
Riddler could be fun. I think Riddler would be an interesting character to include.
I mean, they do have the comics, so they could actually use something from the comics and use the storyline.
Pisham, you're thinking of the Red Helmet, which was part of the Killing Joke.
No, he's correct. Red Hood is...
But the Joker's skin in the first Injustice was the red helmet.
Oh yeah. And Red Hood. Well, he was first called Red Hood, and he had a red helmet. And Jason Todd, he died, and came back and used his name.
I gotcha.
But that's why he's the second Robin.
Well, they could tie in Warner Brothers with Jason Todd as the Arkham Knight.
Yeah, they could. That story isn't really canon because he is the Red Hood.
Yeah, but for interesting design space, I think the Arkham Knight was an interesting character, and I think it would be an interesting offshoot, you know?
Yeah. And he was different to the comics, so...
Yeah. Which, let's be honest, when we're working with Injustice, we're completely going off the rails from the comics anyways.
Since we're on DC, there have been multiple leaks on this. And it's the team that made Batman Origins that are supposedly making this. And a new Superman game.
See, I skipped Arkham Origins because I heard it was too different. I mean, I played Arkham Knight because I got it free with my PS4 and then traded it in. Yeah, I played it to finish it. I'm like, Beast Boy could be interesting. You get in Beast Boy and even Starfire from Teen Titans. Round them out. You could do the twins from Batman Beyond, the DD twins, I think they were. They'd make them kind of like a Ferrator or an Ice Climbers style character. That could be fun. Yeah. That could be an interesting design. That could open up some interesting design space. You got Ink from Batman Beyond. You've got Ink from Batman Beyond.
Yeah, true. But when it comes to the Superman game, why they didn't try to give it to Telltale first? did it with Batman, it makes kind of more sense with Superman because you can do more stuff, and you're more freer
You're more
to
mobile,
like
yeah.
combat.
Yeah.
Yeah. So making a Superman game, I don't even know how it would work because he's so OP.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding.
So how would the combat even work? It's I mean, DC Universe online does it really well. There's something similar to that, it would work.
Okay.
It's to give you some idea what it is. It's an MMO, but it doesn't use the usual rules.
Right. From what I understand, the main heroes are like NPCs that you can interact with and ally yourself with.
Yeah, but the gameplay is
Uh-huh.
what I'm kind of drawing from is you have your base attacks, which you could use your usual keys or triangle, square, and then you have your special abilities, which you combine. Actually, works really well in DC Universe. It's more like an action game than an MMO kind
Oh,
of.
that's kind of cool. All right.
Yeah.
I can get behind
So
that.
if they, something similar to that, that would actually work. But if it's like Superman 64, that would just
Yeah, no. The funny thing is that's what everybody's expecting now. You know it. You know that everyone is expecting Superman 64 out of this.
actually have to confine him somehow. Um, I don't know how you would, but if you did it like you did in DC Universe Online, where you can actually have so you can actually have the powers of Flash. You can be an acrobat, or you can fly like Superman.
Right.
But you're really free to travel around, and you can't really destroy buildings because you're trying to save the world.
Right. Or if
But
you're a
it
villain,
will work.
you're trying to destroy it. But
Yeah, but it works under the restraints the game set for you, instead of where if it were more like an Batman Arkham, it wouldn't really work because you would just it would be unbelievable for you to buildings and stuff like that.
right, yeah, huh. Well, interesting. It'll be interesting to see what they do with it. I'm not, in all honesty, I'm not going to hold my breath. I mean, it
Okay,
seems like there.
I really would have given it to Telltale first and get some ideas from them, get some writing, and then see what they do, and then combine it with some gameplay and get some make it from there.
Yeah,
Because that's what I've wanted. But yeah, I kind of came up with two more games before we close
sure,
this off.
sure, sounds good.
It's
Yeah,
Kingdom
Final
Hearts
Fantasy.
3 and
Oh, there's rumblings that they're going to be teasing a Final Fantasy VII, the Final Fantasy VII reboot, and probably more details about how that's going to work. Honestly, if they make it 3 parts at $40 a pop, it's going to tank them. It's going to tank them. They need to do the entire
yeah.
game in one go, HD reboot. Just they don't need to add any extra frills or anything, or they don't need to make any changes. The game is if they mess with it too much, they're going to piss off the nostalgia fans, and it's going to wreck them. I'm calling it now.
Yeah, uh, again, they shouldn't mess with the combat, the turn-based style. Just give it turn-based.
Yeah.
Update the graphics, update the world, like the movements and stuff like that.
And make and give the world a new thing where what if you were able to set up so you could rotate the camera to adjust what you're looking at. That
And
could be kind of
voiceover.
cool. And adding voiceover. Yeah, that's one thing I dislike about the modern Final Fantasy games. Adding the voices, just something about it seems lost. You know?
Yeah, no.
the older Final Fantasies, like pre-10, where it's just text, it seems like the story is better fleshed out. I don't know why, but for whatever reason, it feels like it's better fleshed out.
No, you're not wrong. I think after 10, 13 kind of went downhill. 13.2 wasn't. I actually liked that game, but a 13.3 again.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you had XP, which was also not good.
My fiance likes it, and I don't quite know why. I don't get.
Yeah, it had
the one thing that I think was interesting about 10.2 was as you would attack, you wouldn't go back to the exact same spot. There was, as the battle would progress, you might wind up on the other side of somebody and open up for a back attack. I thought that was kind of interesting, where you might find yourself repositioning. That was kind of cool. I like that. But that was like the only thing I really liked. How terrible is that?
And you have the Final Fantasy 15. Well, what do you think?
I don't know. What's going to set up the game to succeed is the story and the character development. That's the one thing that Final Fantasy has always... All the good Final Fantasies have had a good story and solid characters behind it. And given Squeenix's prior track record the past 5 years, I'm not sure they can do it. I'm really not. As terrible as it is to say. I don't think they can pull it off.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, people like the Disgaea or Disca, whatever it's called, the prelude.
Disgaea, yeah.
People like that one, but call me a retro fag or whatever you want to call me. But
you like more the turn-based where it's random battles versus the strategy RPG.
Yeah.
And both styles fill a very specific role. I think there's a place for traditional turn-based RPGs, and there is a place for your strategy RPGs where you've got the tactics. Arranging your positioning is as important as your abilities and the level of your character. Both styles fill a very specific role, and I think that both are very worthwhile to have. There are times where I like playing a tactics strategy RPG, and there are times where I would just rather play a classic turn-based, and there are times where I would rather go for an action RPG. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, but I think for Final Fantasy I would prefer that. I mean, I like Dragon Age, for example. That's kind of
more of an action, more action RPG, yeah. Or in the same vein as like the Souls games are with that action RPG style thing. Then there's definitely a good space for that. And those games do deserve to exist. But you're right. There has been a significant loss in the lack of turn-based random battle RPGs in recent memory. We probably should change that.
Yeah. Varric says in the chat, dude got some serious beard game going on.
Yeah, thank you. Keep calm. The beard is ginger.
Pesham says, judging by Man of Steel, it should be similar to the Dragon Ball Z Tenkaichi games.
I can see that. I could see the Tenkaichi games being a good framework for a Superman game in terms of combat and playstyle. Yeah. I'm actually okay with that. I'm okay with that. I think that would be a good style for combat. Now, world navigation was something else, but
the enemies would need to make sense.
Yeah, that's gonna be the hard part.
Because there are only a few guys who would actually give Superman a fight. So if you would several people that were you weren't just gonna bend over by one punch.
Right.
You would have to make sense somehow.
That'd be a different series. One Punch Man. Ha
Yeah. So yeah. But the final, going back to the Final Fantasy games, I always kind of associated them with turn-based. So that's why I
Yeah.
think
And that's really where they've been for decades. I mean, let's be honest. All the way from the first one all the way up to 10 was all turn-based. And then they moved into more of a real-time battle system, and that threw everything off. I mean, the ATB worked in like 7, 8, and 9, where you had like the timer for your attacks. That worked. I think that was a decent way to add some real time to the actual gameplay. I'm okay, and there was nothing wrong with that. But when you have moving around the world like in 12, that's where things started to get a little wonky.
Yeah, so that's why you can call me a traditionalist or whatever you want, a retro guy.
There's nothing wrong with wanting that, though. That's where Final Fantasy got its start, and that's where it excelled. There's nothing wrong with wanting something that works.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yep.
that's where I stand. I don't
Yeah.
know if I'm gonna be able to enjoy Final Fantasy 15, if I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One other
Any
game
more?
you wanted to before we wrap up.
Huh?
There was one other game you wanted to mention before we wrapped up?
3.
Yeah, they've been teasing that for a while now. When is it going to happen? It's like, come on, guys, get with the program here.
Didn't they announce it in like 2014 or something?
Yeah, this is pretty much when the PS4 launched. I know there were quite a few people that were holding out for Kingdom Hearts 3 to launch and said, once that game drops, I will buy a PS4. And there were others that just bought the PS4 just to be able to have just in anticipation for Kingdom Hearts 3.
Well, there were people who held out on a PS3, so they were going to buy one when what's that game? The Eco game.
Oh yeah, The Last Guardian.
Yeah.
Which, let's be honest, that's been in development limbo for a decade now. I at this point, I don't think it's even going to happen.
Yeah, but they did show it last year. So
that's right, they did. It's almost like it's almost going to become the next Duke Nukem Forever.
Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully, it's going to be out this time next year or something, or in the fall.
Yeah, here's hoping. I mean, at this point, it needs to come out. I mean, Duke Nukem Forever wasn't in development this long, I don't think. No, it wasn't. It was like 7 years.
Yeah.
They announced it in, 2004?
Yeah,
and then 2011? Yeah, so I mean...
Final Fantasy 13, which is now Final Fantasy 15, has also spent like 10 years.
No, it hasn't. It was they just teased it last year, didn't they?
But it was supposed at first. It was supposed to be Final Fantasy 13 Versus.
Oh yeah, that's right. They had talked about it, but I thought that one had just been canceled outright in place of Lightning Returns.
It turned into 15.
Oh, okay. Huh. Interesting. All right.
So yeah, and Kingdom Hearts. I don't know how long they spent on that game, because they only revealed it like last year or in 2014, whenever.
It was with the launch of the PS4, and it was a very, very vague teaser.
Yeah.
I don't think they had anything beyond a name. And Persona 5, Pesham just mentioned Persona 5. Yeah, that one, I'm looking forward to seeing how that one pans out. I'm a little worried after what happened with Tokyo Mirage Sessions. With some of the censorship that's gone on with that one. But Persona 5, I saw the ending, like the battle ending victory sequence. I like the visual style. I like the way it looks. I am looking forward to that game. In all honesty, I'd probably pick up a Asia Pacific region copy before it if it's available there before it comes out in the States.
I'm kind of tired with the whole censorship thing lately.
Yeah.
Kind of worries me when games come from Asia and those fucking localizations teams are gonna butcher the game.
Well, if it's any consolation, pick up a Taiwan, Hong Kong, or Singapore, like Asia Pacific region copy. It will have English subtitles in it. All the Asia Pacific ones that come out of like the Hong Kong area region, Hong Kong, Taiwan, Singapore, will have English subtitles and Japanese dialogue. And the PS4 and the Exponent region free. Heyo!
Yeah, the issue here is there is import taxes. That's why it would.
Oh yeah, you guys get the worst of the import taxes. I forget about that. It's not nearly as bad for us here in the States. I mean, if it's under like $500, I think there's no tariffs or anything. Or if there are tariffs, then PlayAsia bakes them in, so it's baked into the cost.
We have our limit is, I think, $50 or something.
$50 or 50 euros?
Dollars.
So like 25 euro.
Yeah, around that, something like that.
Oh God. Wow. Wow. Okay. Wow. Huh.
I bought Bleach Resurrection. I imported it from, and it originally cost like $15 and ended up like costing $70
because of import tariffs. Wow. That's insane.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Huh. Well, anyways, I got some other stuff to take care of before the sun goes down, so we should probably cut the stream short here.
Yeah, we're pretty much done here anyway. So.
Alrighty.
Anything you want to say before we close down? I added your Twitter.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, also hit me up on Sue as well, tsu.co /DDR Freak, same as in the description here. Same as on Twitter and all that. That's my other main social networking site. I'm not on Facebook, so find me on Sue. I post pictures and screenshots, and I just made a snap map in Doom, so that was I posted that up there. That was a lot of fun to play around with. So hit me up on that, and definitely check out Amplitude on the PS3 and PS4 if you have not already. It is a phenomenal music game, very reasonably priced. I backed it on Kickstarter. Definitely worth the money I spent on it. And yeah, beautiful, beautiful game. 4-player split-screen multiplayer, and a kick-ass soundtrack. So go check it out.
All right, I think we're gonna finish there then.
Alrighty.
Joining me then, so I'm gonna finish there. Thanks everyone for watching.
And thanks to everyone for tuning in, and we really appreciate it.
Yeah. So see ya. Bye.
Bye.